What's up, for subscribers? So glad you're checking in. Again, it's Steve with the 1907 show. We escaped today. Whew. Oh, man. I knew this game was going to be a tough game. Those reporters tried to gaslight Slat, say, hey, are you just going to rest some players? Like this game doesn't matter. Slat didn't fall for it. But I am so blessed to bring you my friend Tele, who's a massive Manchester United fan. He's waiting for the sleeping giant to wake up. So I just want to tell you, thanks for joining. Before you go play pickup, I just want to hear what's your reaction to the game. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so it feels really good to be here. As you well know, I've done a little bit of podcasting myself, and I didn't expect to feel this giddy to be on a podcast,
Sure.
But yeah, I like it. I like the the feeling that I'm getting from it, and it's my pleasure to be on here. Even if just for a very few minutes.
Thank
But
you.
my thoughts regarding the match, to be very honest with you, and I said it in the text that we shared just before we came on here, I really expected a thrashing. As a Manchester United fan, I just watched that game to see how we would perform, and that was it. I wasn't expecting a draw. I wasn't expecting anything. In fact, I wasn't expecting a good performance. Judging by what Manchester United have done in the past 5-6 games, I wasn't expecting what I saw. It was a big surprise for me, to be honest. And it just goes to show that in games like this, the form goes out the window. And that's one of the appeals of the Premier League, right? That's one of the appeals. The last game Manchester United won was against Manchester City. We lost to Newcastle. We lost to, but against Manchester City, against Liverpool, we seem to be able to turn up. And I think that was good. But from a Liverpool perspective, all the talk about running away with the league might have started to creep into the mentality of the boys, right?
Yeah.
And it happened. I saw the same thing happen with Chelsea. Chelsea's last game was one of those games where they should have won. But the whole chatter around Chelsea now is, oh, are they in the title challenge now? Are they
Right.
And that doesn't do good for a player's psyche when you're playing. For every minute of every game in the Premier League is so important, and you have to have that you have to be switched on the entire time. So I feel like that little bit of maybe overconfidence creeped in, and I also think that maybe Slot rushed Konate in a little too early.
Yeah.
He's just come back from an injury. And you could see Konate was shaky. So Konate being shaky, Trent having arguably one of the worst games of his career.
Yeah.
That whole side of the field was open for Manchester United to take advantage of. And I think Amorim did a good job of putting it in Dalot's mind that Trent is up for the taking. Go up against him and try to do something, and that was it.
Nice. I know you're limited for time. I've got something positive I could say about you, and I've got something, kind of a hot take I could say about you. So when you're limited,
Tele or Manchester United
about Manchester United. So like assuming you have to rush off, which one do you want? The positive or the hot take?
No. Let's have both.
Okay.
I think I still have some time. Yeah.
Okay. So which one do you want first then?
Give me the hot take first.
Okay. Hot take. It's not too bad. Yesterday, I did a little cast with Zach, who's a Chelsea fan. I really wish he was here because he's the one who did the hot take of saying Chelsea could go on a title run. So that's really funny that you just said that because, yeah, it was a joke. My hot take is you can build off of the energy and the positivity shown today, but I do not think that you can really build off of the playing style shown today because, and you coached with me, we coached a team. The playing style that was shown today, it's a very specific playing style that you can really only do in a very specific situation. And the situation is you're playing a team that is playing way better than you right then. And you are so motivated to beat them. You hate them. And so you can use that situation and say, you know what, today, we are never going to be exposed to the back. Normally, we get counters every time the other team has a corner. If you look today, you would have a corner and you'd have 5 back. I was watching.
Yep.
We didn't get it.
Yep.
So your people, instead of playing normal 3-4-3, it was more like, 5 in the back. So they were committed to the low block and then extremely direct. And Slot spoke about this. So if your keeper, what's up, Zach? We're just recapping for this guy. If your keeper got the ball, there was no trying to build up through Liverpool's midfield. It was hit directly target that area that you just said, Trent and Konate. And so low block, direct, it's a perfect tactic when you're playing a team that's better than you. They're not going to expect it, and it's really freaking annoying, especially when you have good players, which United does, especially when you have hate in your belly represented by Martinez. Martinez, bro.
I mean, of course.
So that's my hot take.
It's a derby, for crying out loud.
Yes, it's a derby tactic. And I told Zach yesterday, I said, Amorim has nothing to lose. The most I thought we would win today is 2-0. And I knew it was going to be like a tough game. And I wasn't really thinking about Konate and how weak he would be. I'm glad he didn't play Kwanzaa. That makes sense to me. This is a game that needed experience. And also, I was not expecting. People don't understand how bad the Trent thing was. And Slot was really classy in playing it down. This is Manchester United. Trent is from Liverpool. He and Curtis Jones, they are the emotional leaders in these games. They are the people who say, hey, we hate United. We've hated them our whole life. Let us show you how it's done. Trent has been the guy. He's not going to let us lose against Manchester United. And today, he looked like the number one person that was going to give them an assist. So that's my hot take. The positive thing I want to say really quick is I always have said Bruno Fernandes is better than Odegaard. You know how I feel about Arsenal fans. Bruno Fernandes is a real cam. Bruno Fernandes is dangerous. He has a final ball. I know that he's annoying, but I'm not this safe passer retention guy. I'm not this effective guy. If you know my personality, what do I want? I want play the numbers game, risk. If you give Bruno Fernandes 6 corners, one of them's going in. If you give Bruno Fernandes, if you hit him in the pocket X amount of times, you better watch out. I don't ever fear that with Odegaard. I fear it with Maddison of Spurs, and I fear it with Bruno. That's the real cam thing. This is the one guy that it's like, look, your vision and your incisiveness is so good. We're willing to let you give some balls away because you're not giving them away in a very dangerous part of the pitch, but we know that you're so creative. If we just get you the ball, you're going to make something out of nothing. And that's exactly what he did for the Lisandro Martinez goal. He literally drew 3 players and sit there and whipped out the easel and painted a picture for Lisandro Martinez that he had to put away. So I just want to give props to Bruno Fernandes. He gets a lot of hate, but bro, Bruno Fernandes is not a system player. He's actually a quality player. If you put him in like one of these better systems, it would be insane.
So I hear you.
Moods are
and I know
flipped.
Zach.
Our moods are flipped from yesterday.
Zach, I know you would want to say something now. I mean,
Yeah, but go for it. I always have a
here.
lot to say, but go for it.
So here's the thing, and I'll touch on both points you made, right? But I'll start with the latter, right? Bruno versus Odegaard. Bruno's issue for me. Now, hear me. Bruno had the game of his life today. Go look at Bruno's stats across, from the moment he joined Manchester United. Every time he played against a big team, he always went missing. And that was annoying for me. That was always annoying for me. Bruno never really stood up for Manchester United when we were playing against big teams. Go check the stats. Bruno today had something to prove. He literally cost us the Newcastle game. Yes, the Newcastle game, and because he got that red card. You're the captain of the game. Why are you getting the red card? Why are you losing your head? Why are you getting the red card? You're the captain of the team. You're the leader. So he knew he had a lot to prove today, and that was what you saw today. That was a Bruno where 100% of his decision-making was perfect today. My problem with Bruno, and the reason why I might take Odegaard over him, is that consistency. In the game, in-game and across games, Bruno is inconsistent in games. He's a baller, but he's so inconsistent that it ends up being, does the good really outweigh the bad? That's how I see it with Bruno.
Yeah,
right?
but a team
But
can carry.
With Odegaard, he consistently gives you what you know he's good at. He would give it to you 100% throughout the game.
Yeah.
And every time he's fit to play a game, he would do that for you 100%. Now, regarding the style of playing what Manchester United played today, I don't think it's the be-all and end-all of what Amorim is trying to do at Manchester United. Look at what he did. He played this system or this format with Sporting. They were a good team, very attacking, very defensively solid. They trashed Manchester City like it was. I mean, even though there was emotion in the game, it's his last game, in the Champions League, but you can see that this, I believe, was sort of a one-off, right? With the way we played today, it was a one-off. It was more or less. And after the game, Amorim's conversation with the press was he's so annoyed as to how you play like this one game, and then 5 games before that, you played like there was no application. And that's what he was saying. They tried to ask him, like, so do you think, like, would this be like the benchmark for your players to move forward? He's like, he's not fazed by this performance really, because he knows they can do this. He knows they have the system is there, the training is there, the tactics, but the application of those players will always let you down as a manager. And it's the problem that we've had since Ferguson left, right? The application of Manchester United players, because of all the chatter that that's around Manchester United as a team. So I just really wanted to touch on those 2 points very quickly.
No, that's amazing.
This is not the way Amorim wants Manchester United to play, throughout. But it's a case of you just have to do what you have to do, and we had to do it today, and it worked for us.
Yeah, sorry to join late, guys. But yeah, well, I will just say, along with Trent, I've actually been a Man United hater longer than Trent, because he's been longer than he's been alive. I've been hating this team, and today I'll just say I'm drinking out of a red cup not for Liverpool, but for Man United. It's a very weird feeling. It's a very uncommon, weird feeling to be watching a game and cheering for Man United. It's weird. What the team I've hated the most as long as I remember. But that's the point. They're so useless right now. They're such a dull non-threat right now that you can cheer for them to disrupt someone who you're actually sort of trying to catch up to. I mean, we're so far behind. It's a joke. It's a joke right now. But still, I'd rather Liverpool lose points. So I was watching, honestly, like an emotional fan this game. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it was weird. I mean, Steve and I talked about it yesterday. There's a real big potential banana peel because of the rivalry, because this is what Man United has done on a few occasions. They're dull. Then they play Man City and they show up.
Yeah.
And you're like, the FA Cup, 1 out of a million picked them to win it probably, right? And they show up and win it, they just, it comes to what you were talking about, the interview with Emery at the end of the match, where he even said, he's like, even as the coach, I can't explain it. Like, I don't know, exactly. It's not technique, it's not quality, it's not, and he almost said, I feel like he almost said it's effort, but I think he didn't want to fall into the easy trap of saying it's effort, because it's not only effort. I think it's a combo of effort, confidence, habits that have just built up, sort of the opposite of the habits Liverpool has built up with their players, constantly being high intensity. It seems like Man United players have constantly been in a malaise, and they're just constantly like not given enough. I've given 90%, so then it's very hard for them to regularly give anything more. And you sort of feel, and then they come to a game and you're like, wow, they can actually play pretty good high intensity football. It was a wild game to watch. Very strange. The weather, of course, part of it. Remind me of the Everton Chelsea match we played that was also barely not canceled. But yeah, I want to hear more about what went on with Liverpool, because that was like a little bewildering to me as non-Liverpool fan. Like, what was going on? Like, how you let them have, but as it seemed to me just that Man United brought more intensity than expected. And as Steve and I said yesterday, because the odds were so heavily in favor of Liverpool, I saw like ESPN FC predictions, and it was like 12 people or something predicted Liverpool win. Never a good
Right.
sign when all of them predict, because that's
Right.
that's the height of complacency. That's the height of overconfidence. It's the height of you go into a game just expecting you'll just win because you have to. You're so much better, and that's just always like a booby trap. So, I mean
Yeah.
that's a basic takeaways with Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I sort of agree with. I'm sort of. I get both arguments. So Bruno is just one of those X factor players. He's one of those difference makers who can. He just knows when to do something a little different to break the pattern and to get a goal or an assist. I've seen it so many times. He comes through in so many games, like just with this brilliance, and it isn't consistent enough. It's not like it's not Cole Palmer level. It's not Salah level. It's not the level to be like in the Premier League team of the 11, in a team of 11, but it's still, he's one of those few players who can just pull something out of nowhere and change the game. And I agree that Odegaard out for Arsenal. Arsenal was like, they looked like they missed their heart, you know.
Right.
The Odegaard
being out for Liverpool, sorry to cut you there. Odegaard being out for Liverpool is the reason why Arsenal is this far behind in the title chase for me.
Say it again.
In my
I
opinion.
didn't hear. Say it again.
I said Odegaard being out for Liverpool, that that extended period with that injury is the reason why Arsenal fell this far behind.
Yeah,
I
agree.
fully agree. Fully
Fallen
agree.
this far behind at this stage of the season.
No, they couldn't create. They couldn't play their game. He's the orchestrator. You know, he's. But you're a Liverpool fan as well, right?
No, bro. He's
No,
United.
Manchester United.
Oh, you're a United fan.
Through.
How perfect was that?
I thought you texted me that a Liverpool fan was going to be on.
No, I was, but then he couldn't make it. So then I got Tele here, who I've talked to you about before too. Tele is my bro. We coached a team together, one of the greatest teams Callahan's ever seen. If you're watching,
Right?
And bro, we got it done, man. We had a co-ed team, and those they were not ready for those tactics out there in Callahan.
Well, I was, listening to your analysis. I wasn't sure. Is it a Liverpool fan? Is it an Arsenal fan? I didn't really think United fan, but that's the state of play right now for you guys. And I just, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in the 90s when you guys dominated everything, and it's just you either love United or you hate them because of that, and that's just forming.
So here's the thing, just before I go, the reason why you couldn't tell is because when I do like podcasts and like analysis of games, I can put on my Man U fan hat, I can, and be delusional, and say all sorts. But when I'm trying to be real, I'm able to assess things based on, what it really is. I said it before you came on. I really, really expected a thrashing, Manchester United at Anfield, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
at Anfield,
hadn't scored there
at
in
this stage.
Hadn't scored there in 6 years, and then you get 2 goals.
Exactly.
In the worst state of your of your club's history, like almost. It's like, well, I want to hear a little more. Can you say a little bit more? Like, how much do you expect that you could have that kind of match, like regularly? I mean, how much do you feel like it's just a matter of the guys getting in the habit of putting in more effort? I mean, and you do have a few, changes there. Ahmad, he's in my fantasy team. I think he's brilliant. He's a difference maker, just young. Anyway, what I'm curious to hear more. Like, do you think that you could put in that performance week after week, that kind of performance?
Very, very quickly before I go, because our match is about to start.
Sure.
I think that we made a mistake letting Ten Hag go. It's a very No, hear me. It's a very, very hot take, right? And I really cannot. I don't say this out loud enough, but what we're experiencing now is another reset, and Manchester United is not ready, or our fans, everybody is not really ready for that, or was not ready for that at the time when the season started and Ten Hag's team did not kick off, from where they left off last season, right? So these kinds of performances will be few and far between. That's a given, because we're with a new manager. It's a new system, a very, very different system from anything Manchester United is used to at all. Ferguson had, the 4-4-2. Never have we had to play this kind of system ever since I've been watching Manchester United, and for as long as I can remember. So the newness of it is the reason why I think we're not going to have these kinds of performances, as regularly as we should. It's another reset again. Something we suffered with at the start of Ten Hag's reign, right? First year, second year, third year, and then, chop and change, and now Amorim having to instill, his ideology and everything. So it's like these kinds of performances, few and far between. As long as we have this bunch of this setup, this bunch of players that we have at the moment, as long as it's this same team, it will take some time for us to see any level of consistency. Because, like you did say, this group has gotten so used to giving less than 100% in every game. I mean, 70-80%.
Yeah.
In most games.
Yeah, I was being generous with the 90%.
For too long. It has gone on for too long. And like Ragnick rightly pointed out, the team needs open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Until that surgery is completed, it's just going to be. And I'm a realistic fan. I understand that that's what it's going to be for us until God knows when. But yeah, we're well and truly battling relegation this season. I just wanted to leave that before I go.
Yeah, but man,
we are battling relegation.
The overall takeaway, though, you guys look threatening as heck. You had so many chances, looked so threatening. Maguire and Dyer, these like not the most agile or quickest, defenders. They shut stuff down. They were working their butt off, and that was a great match as a neutral.
And Maguire was this close to scoring the winning goal.
Oh
Imagine
my gosh,
that.
dude. Oh, but I was gonna ask. There was one play almost at the end. Where Man United had to play the ball back. They were retreating. Liverpool started pressing, and was it Bruno who?
It was Ugarte. It was Manu Ugarte.
Was it Ugarte?
It was
who
Ugarte.
Just completely tricked everyone, cut it back.
Sent it out wide, and then the ball to Xerxes.
Oh, that
Xerxes,
was a
who's
brilliant
so
pass.
short of confidence. He should have taken the shot, and then he passed to Maguire, and Maguire blazed it over the bar.
That's the kind of game instincts, though. That's what makes it different, and that was brilliant. I mean, that was brilliant. He knew what was coming behind him. He just totally threw Liverpool off.
Ugarte has been a massive player for us, and I can't wait to see what the guy has to offer. And very quickly before I go, I would love to do this again with you guys. This has been fun.
Definitely.
I told Steven, just before you came on that I felt so giddy,
It's way more fun with three.
But for sure. I'll catch you guys. When next you want to have me, just let me know.
You're going to play right now? Play football?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good luck then. Good luck. Flying high today.
Yes, sir.
See you, bro. Hey,
course.
don't forget, let it upload.
What position?
Gotcha.
What position does he play?
He can play everywhere, man.
Okay.
He's 28 years old.
I can see he's younger. Can play anywhere. No,
well, especially compared to these Americans, he literally can, but he probably ends up in midfield or up front.
He must be feeling he's gonna feel good of stepping out there on the grass.
He's about to ball out.
He's gonna ball out. He's gonna ball out. He's gonna be like this. Oh, it's just, oh my gosh. I'm telling you though. Oh my gosh, it was disappointing that final. Xerxes should have taken the shot. He
should have, bro.
He didn't have the confidence.
Bro.
He didn't have the confidence. He felt too self-conscious. Of course, a square ball, is a smart play, but it was he paused too long. He didn't know what to do. So then he gave a bad ball. It's not really Maguire's fault. The ball was quite difficult to handle in the rain, exhausted. I was thinking Maguire was going to collapse 10 minutes before that, how much he was running up and down. And if he had known, was that Martinez behind him? I think Martinez would have put it away, but no, that was painful. But at the same time, there were chances in both directions repeatedly.
What's the deal with this upload? Can he leave but just not close the app?
Yeah, I think just not close it.
You can leave, just don't close it.
Yeah, he can leave the studio.
Look, fans and subscribers, we're figuring this out.
We don't have fans or subscribers. This is just for us right now.
all 4 people who are watching this,
okay.
We're figuring this out. And I'm excited because I'm beginning to feel it. I mean, I was experimenting. I have my phone on a gimbal if I wanted to do a second camera to be funny.
Oh, yeah.
And I can
Well, it's much better with 3 people. I think 3 is ideal. 3 or 4.
Yeah, bro. I
Before
think
you
if
have
you
to
and
have the
I,
skills.
especially if we have a fan from the team,
Yeah.
so it was United, and I actually
Yeah.
sent the way that it works that I didn't know is I can send that link. I sent it to multiple people,
Yeah.
and I was like, "You can hop in, hop in." One of them was like, "I can't do it. Sorry. Is this every Sunday?" He's a United fan, and then this guy just hopped in. So
No, the
I
more
think
fans of different teams, the better.
I think if we can
And
figure out a Sunday time, if we can always do Sunday at like 3:30, because that should always be after the games, including people like me who have to watch the game a little late. And then that gives people time to like hang out
and
with their families, eat lunch on Sunday.
if you have
I
six
think
or
if we can
seven
figure out time.
people, if you have 6 or 7 people, then if three can make it,
Right.
regularly at
Yeah,
that time. But if
exactly.
there's a set time, you know what time. But then you don't have to have everyone make every. You would just have. But yeah, a Newcastle fan, Arsenal fan, I guess.
Yeah, good luck finding a City fan.
Just
But another thing is after yesterday, I want to keep these shorter. I don't want to go over like 30 minutes ever because then it's just, especially until we pay for this app, it's just
I
easier to have it shorter.
yeah, I have to tell you something offline, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's yeah, I think that's good. Well, I missed obviously the beginning, but I caught what you were saying about. Well, did you criticize Liverpool at all? Like, did you have any criticism or positive?
We didn't really
Either
get
way.
to it. I introduced him and I was asked what his reaction was to the game, and I just let him talk because I knew his time was limited.
And then you talked about Man United's strategy a little bit.
And then I said, I've got a hot take on Man U and I've got something good. Something good was Fernandez. I'm a fan. Something I didn't say and he had to go is that Bruno's weaknesses would be greatly reduced in a more stable environment. So if you had a stable
Yeah,
environment with a team that's playing a system and they're all playing like, for instance, Arteta has everybody playing, but he's like the one guy that has freedom, that's how you use that guy.
yeah,
Everybody else doesn't have that freedom. Only he gets the freedom. And what happens then is in his brain, every time he gets the ball, is it hot, risky pastime or is it just simply recycle? Right now, it's not like that. Right now, because the team is so all over the place, it's like pure chaos mode,
yeah.
which he can still take advantage of. But my point is, it makes him look a lot worse than I think
Well,
he
oh,
actually
I
is.
agree, 100%. And I think he's one of those rare players who can still perform, and despite the
Right,
situation,
right.
and in a
So that
better
tells you.
team, he's just one of those players. I'm always scared of him. I mean,
Yes,
he's got
that's the
quality. I'm
bottom line.
always
Are you
scared of
scared
him.
of him when he gets the ball or not?
Yeah, no, he's always scary. He can make he's a genius player. He's a brilliant player. I don't like his
Well,
attitude at all. His attitude drives me nuts. I can't
oh,
stand
dude.
it. No, I don't think
Yeah, he
anybody
writes
likes it.
Scientologies on Instagram. Trust me, I make fun of him. Like, I coached with Tele, and
Sorry.
bless you. I
Sorry.
coached with him, and our personalities are very different in terms of what we like. It for him, you can literally be winning, but if the people aren't doing what he wants them to do, it stresses him out. Whereas for me, it's more like a brouhaha numbers game. I can kind of feel that things are heading in our way. It doesn't really matter, eh, if that makes sense. So I think I have a little more room in my kind of like approach to sports and competition for characters who are high risk and crazy. I like it. I can use them. You know what? Because you've only got one job. Your job is to create 3 baller chances today. That's it.
Yeah.
That's your job. I
Yeah.
don't need you to be safe. I don't need you to be smart. I don't need you to be tidy. I don't need you to do any of that crap all these other people are saying. All I need you to do is the Bruno Fernandez thing. And every corner that guy took today, like that's people aren't talking about his
Yeah, no,
technique.
he's very similar to Cole Palmer for us, and
Yes.
Cole Palmer's got the better stats right now, but if I'm being completely honest, I think they're very similar level. I think Cole Palmer's
Yeah,
got much
for
better
sure.
stats, and maybe he's a much better player. A lot of people say he is, but I think they're very similar, play similar roles. I think just the team around Bruno is total crap. It's there's so much crap. The team has been such a disaster. We had a disaster season last year, but even then we had at least attacking threats, and we had a good counterattacking team in some ways, but yeah, no, I see them. There's not many players that I think are as like I compare as much to Cole Palmer as Bruno Fernandes. Lamine
Yeah.
Yamal a bit. Those guys, he's can't compare him a lot with. But anyway, let's go back. So, what's your take on Liverpool? Like, are you disappointed? Are you happy? I mean, Liverpool looked more or less as good as ever. They just kept losing control of the game. United just kept
Yeah.
winning 50-50 balls and like disrupting. But Liverpool had so many chances where if it had just gone a little differently, it could have been could have been a normal Liverpool game, but some big
Yeah.
saves, some good defense, but
I think emotionally, it's if emotionally it feels bad, but mentally it does not feel bad. So emotionally, for me, and I'm sure Slot's going to do this, is we know why the game was close today. We know why we didn't get all 3 points today. Let's move on. Because the Trent stuff is obvious. Slot played it down in the presser, said, no, it's because of Fernandes and Dallo, not because of the rumors all week. Trent's body language has been off all year, not just this game.
I don't know what you're referring to. I mean, I know he was.
Oh, well, heavily linked to
I
Real
know he was
Madrid.
linked to Real Madrid, and Liverpool shot it down. But you're saying that he had a bad performance because of this, or
Yes.
okay?
Like the Heat
Nah, that doesn't make sense.
Now that it's in January, the Heat is way more because he's actually technically now Real Madrid is allowed to talk to him legally, so it really amped up today, and it's against United, and it's at home at Anfield. So Trent, you got to understand the emotions, and Carragher talks about this. I guarantee you, Carragher's going to say something about this because Carragher, well, it's his job,
Yeah.
but there's an emotional connection. You can go out there and you don't need to be the best player, but if you come out there and you give 100%, the Liverpool fans are going to love you. That's why they love Darwin Nunez. Trent was the opposite of that today. It was like he's literally a defender and he couldn't get the ball. I don't know if you saw him with Fernandes. He's like, oh, it almost looked to me like he's trying to like avoid injury because look at Bradley. When Bradley came on, he was like, wham, knocking into tackles, taking the ball back. There was no snap in the tackle from Trent at all, giving the ball away. It was bad. He didn't even take the free kick, which that's just interesting. I think normally Trent's like, no, I'm the best free kick taker at this team. Sly, you've literally never made a free kick for us that I can remember. I'm taking this free kick. So there was no ownership, no authority.
Yeah, that's weird. Huh?
Yes,
was
bro.
it because it was so close up?
It wasn't. He could have hit that. He's hit that. That's one of his prime positions.
Okay.
So for me,
that's strange.
He wasn't himself today. When you have leaders on the team, emotional leaders on the team, vice captains on the team, big, huge derby, and they're not emotionally, their head's not screwed on, that's going to affect things. That's number one. Number two, Konate. I don't think anybody.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. I mean, the dude just came back.
Yeah, but he had to because he's more.
But I thought he was going to get injured. With the conditions, with how hard the game was, how physical it was, with how I was like, this dude's going to get friggin' injured. He's going to get injured. I was like halfway. Yeah. And so I was impressed that he got through the game not getting injured.
Yep.
That's right. That's my take. I mean, I think obviously he was slow. What do you expect?
Yes. Yeah. And he looked dead. Like after 80 minutes, he looked dead. The announcers could see it. But do you want to play Kwanzaa? Do you want to play a 21-year-old in this game? If you don't have to, do you want to play a Colwell type person in this game? If you don't have to, you know what I mean. Like in terms of his headspace, bro. This is not. If you have a Konate, I'll take 85% Konate over 100% Kwanzaa in a game this big. And it was a big call. And I love how Slot's like, yeah, I played him because he was fit. He made it through the game. Good job. And I love it. Like he's just shutting it down. But we all know that was hard. So Konate's not going to be out of shape for the next game. He's going to be ready. And we made it through this game. Damage limitation. I don't know about the Trent situation. I actually thought...
But I did see today that
I thought they were going to yank Trent earlier, bro. I thought he was going to yank Trent at like 57 minutes. And that would have been a major headline if he'd have done that.
But Liverpool gave him an offer, right? Today. Or yesterday.
Yeah, they offered him 78. They offered him $300K a week. 78 million over 5 years for a right back. Over $300K a week.
Seems like a lot to me. I mean, to be honest, at this level, like I don't see how much more these guys feel like they need. I mean, you're making so much money. The money they're making is so crazy now. It's like okay, negotiate, get the best deal you can, but just play where you want to play. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so. I think he's probably struggling with where he wants. I mean, I don't know.
right.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I maybe he
because
wants to stay at Liverpool. There's not a struggle. It's just with his best friend being at Real Madrid, Real Madrid being who it is, and then always the question: what if something happens? What if this is my only chance to ever play for Real Madrid? I mean, most players, almost every single player, wants to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona at some point in their career.
yep.
I mean, they're so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think the conditions were hard for Trent's kind of football too. We struggled a lot with those conditions against Everton with our kind of technical more more technical players, and those conditions look nasty. So I don't know. I didn't think too
Yeah.
much. But I mean, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I thought the Konate was the one that I was a little bit surprised and concerned by, because I couldn't believe he played that much. Like, that was pretty wild.
That was a dangerous game.
But were
He
you upset with the tactics at all? Did you feel at all like you got
no,
one upped by Emery? Because I mean, this shouldn't have been a competition theoretically.
no. I don't feel one up, bro. And I told you yesterday. I told you the tactics that he was going to do, and that is exactly what he did. I literally took pictures in the first half of the five at the back, even when they were in possession and they were attacking and driving down the field. They had five at the back. If you look at when their team would have a corner and we would get the ball, which Liverpool's famous for those quick counters. When the other team has the corner, they had five at the back. So Amarine came to defend and snatch and grab, go direct, don't try to play midfield. And it's very difficult to play a top quality team that does that. Like, if your team did that, it would be very hard for us to beat. It's just kind of a doggy dog kind of way to play. But hey, it is what it is. Your team sucks right now. You got to do what you got to do. We respect it, and that's what he did. So I'm not overthinking it at all.
I will say I normally don't get on ref calls, but the Dyer one, I think there's a tricky situation there. I think it hit off his chest before his hand.
It did, but it doesn't matter. Remember, they changed the
Oh,
rules
did they
about that.
change it this season?
No, they changed it a year or two ago. Like, if your
Oh, I
hand
thought it
hits
was.
it at all in the build-up, if it's either side, if your hand's away from your body, and it
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter if it's defense or offense, it affects it.
Oh, I thought it was still where if it hits off a legal body part onto your hand, it's okay. So that makes more sense. Yes,
Yeah, bro. And his hand was
that was
way up.
obvious. I love how he immediately tried to be like, my arm was here. Your arm was way up here, dude. It's like so far
Bro,
away from.
prayers for Delict, bro.
Well, that explains why there was no
Gakpo,
discussion.
Gakpo sent Delict so
Oh,
badly.
Gakpo, man. Gakpo, I'm telling you, I don't know. Watching him play in the World Cup and the Euro for Netherlands, the guy shows up as the boss and he takes over
Mm-hmm.
games and he's
Yep.
deadly. And it's always a little bit weird to me how he has to play like, a beta role at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever he feels ready, like the moment is his,
Yeah,
he takes charge. I've seen it
he
a
does it.
lot more this season than last season, I think.
Yeah. Well, because Slot is Dutch and he
Yeah,
plays him in his preferred position.
yeah,
And I don't know if you've looked, he's basically one out left wing. Now, it helps that we don't have a real number nine.
yeah,
It would be more difficult if we had a real number nine and he couldn't just shift Luis Diaz there. But Gakpo's a starter.
yeah.
He
Now he
forced
forced his
himself to
way
be a
in,
starter.
and he deserves it. And
Yep.
I think he should be bold like that more. Like if I mean, I don't
Yeah.
as a
He's been
rival
doing
fan,
that.
I don't think he should. I would like him to sit
Right.
on the bench, but like I think he should be a little more bold to like be the guy. And I think he's sort of like he's a little too modest with it. Feels like sometimes, but today like he just was like, look, Salah's not doing it yet. Like
Yeah.
it's my time to take charge, and that goal that was really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
Dyer shouldn't have left it. He should have stayed on his feet.
Delict, I mean.
I mean, Delict. Sorry, Delict. I keep saying Dyer, right?
Yep.
But he should have stayed on his feet. He should have. But it was a slick move. It was a very slick move, and he's deadly. He's so clinical with those shots from the side. Yeah, it was a good. I mean, could have gone either way. I think it
Yeah,
ended up being a fair score for the match.
Yeah, I really had a sick feeling in
Yeah,
my stomach all day, and I was just praying that Slabhead didn't get a header because they were getting so many corners. I don't know if it was a tactic to try and get corners, but Liverpool, I think, is the only team in the league to have not ever conceded from a corner this year.
Really? Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
So if there was a day, it was going to be today, man. The conditions and Bruno, those balls were every ball was dangerous every time. So
I was surprised on the free kick at the end that they didn't do an in-swinging ball, because just the potential, especially people exhausted, the rain, for like a deflection into the goal. I was quite shocked they did an out-swinging ball I mean, with that spot, like that was like an ideal spot for a ball to just fall through the cracks and go into the goal. But
did you see that short corner that they did?
I don't remember short
And
corner.
Bruno hit it near post. Holy cow!
Yeah,
they went short, and then Bruno just shot it near post. And
yeah.
Allison saved it.
I thought
That's
Bruno
hard
was
to-
gonna. I thought he was just gonna have one of those moments, and didn't come through. But yeah, well,
That's it for me. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that it felt a little bit like, you could see an opening for Liverpool to fall a little bit, to stumble, but at the end of the day, you still looked more or less the same. It was just Man United came out of the traps in a very surprisingly, strong manner. I mean, you're still 6 points ahead of Arsenal. The thing with Arsenal, I mean, they lost Saka, so like, well, how are they going to catch up? They're not catching up to anything. And then what Nottingham Forest might be at 6. I mean, I said earlier, Nottingham Forest deserves respect. Like, until they fall off, don't say, oh, they don't have a chance. Like, I don't like that talk, But at the same time, like, they're not going to catch Liverpool. They might end up in the top 4. Like, they could hold out for the whole season and be top 4, but they're not catching Liverpool. You guys are running away with it. We needed you to lose one more point today.
Sorry. Here, let's take a look at the table here.
I just can't believe Salah's numbers, though. Like, look at it, dude. 18 goals, 13 assists. It's ridiculous, man.
I've got some stuff pulled up. We're going to experiment.
The penalties help, but, still.
I wonder how this is going to show. Is this going to show it on that little screen, or does it show it?
Yeah, I see it on the big screen.
You're seeing it on the big screen? Okay, so here we are. Game in hand. We play Forest next, by the way. Our only loss of the year.
Yep.
That's going to be an interesting game. But we play at Forest. Look at Forest's record. Look at Forest's form.
Yeah, I know. There's a good team. I mean,
that's going to be an interesting game. Here's another one. This is all time. Liverpool versus Manchester United. There's some interesting stuff here. First of all, they've won 32 times to 24.
Oh, wow. Despite you
but
having
we've scored 100 goals to their 92.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's because we were just whipping up on them the last few years.
Yeah.
High score, 5-0, 7-0. So I just think that's funny. But they've had 7 more games at Anfield than we've had. So it just shows you how dominant that Ferguson era was.
7 more at Old Trafford, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We have been better than them for it feels like the last decade. And they're still ahead of us.
Yeah, that's the dominance they had for so long there.
Yeah.
I was shocked though that it had been 6 years since someone scored at Anfield. That was
Yeah.
And then someone who almost scored at the near the beginning, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would have been perfect. And it was like, if it's not going to happen with this kind of chance, it's probably not going to happen today. But it looked like it would happen. But at the same time, I was like, oh man, there was a close one early on, and I was like, oh man, that would have been the chance. But yeah.
I can't think of it.
All right, peace.
Appreciate you.
See.
All right, buddy. I'll post it. See ya. Oh, do we need to talk offline? Thanks, everybody. 1907 show.